What's up everyone, Andrew here with the Lake Team in Houston, Texas. Welcome back to our channel. We have another fantastic video for you today. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't already, go ahead and smash that subscribe button down below. We do our best to produce the best real estate content to you guys each and every single week. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into today's topic, which is the 10 things you need to do before you buy a house or before you shop for a house. Stay tuned. All right, so the first things first, probably the most important part is know your credit scores. Know where your credit scores are. And if you haven't paid attention to your credit scores, now is the absolute time to go ahead and get started on it. There's several companies out there like creditkarma.com, Experian, TransUnion, whatever. But the three main credit bureaus out there is Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Those are the scores that you need to be paying attention to. You need to know your credit report as well, because if you're not paying attention to your credit report, how do you even know if someone has stolen your identity? Someone may have purchased a car in your name. Someone maybe has a $10,000 loan in your name that you have no clue about that is on your report. And that's the last thing you want to know or find out whenever you're trying to purchase a house and they tell you you're denied because your credit score is low, and by the way, you have X amount of debt. It's not even yours to begin with. So that's probably the most devastating news. But the first things first is go ahead and pay attention to your credit score, know your credit scores, know where you're at, and make sure some of that debt's starting to get paid off. That is your debt, right? Make sure you're starting to get some of that paid down. If you needed to boost your credit scores. So if you want to know when it comes to qualifying with mortgages, I did a video previously on some of the standards that are right now for your credit scores, the minimum credit scores to be able to qualify for certain loans. So I'll leave the link in the description, or I'll add a card somewhere in this video so you can watch that particular video as well. Next thing is shop for your lenders. So all the lenders aren't created equal, just like all real estate agents aren't created equul. And I would highly advise you to either reach out to, just talk to a bunch of them. See, compare their fees, compare their rates, compare like origination fees, compare, are they making you buy down points? I mean, whatever that is, start comparing them and just get a feel for really the type of lender that you want to work with. I mean, some people just don't care. They just want to pay and maybe they use an online lender, or maybe someone wants a more personable approach and wants a local lender that will actually sit down and talk with them, go over the process from start to finish, and face-to-face meetings. As somebody that you could reach out to relatively quickly that's here locally in the Houston area, I would suggest getting with your agent. Your agent typically knows some of the best lenders that are around. They're tried and true. They work with them for a reason, because they're good at what they do. They have good communication skills. That's what I look for in a lender. There's two particular lenders that I work with, and if you want their information, I'll be happy to share it with you guys. You can also get pre-approved on our website, by the way. Go to our home page or the buy page, and you'll be able to click that pre-approval link, and you just fill out that app. It takes about 5 minutes, and then you should be good to go, and you'll be hearing back from one of our lenders. But nonetheless, there are a couple lenders that I do refer, that I do work with. I know them, I like them, I trust them. Their communication skills are great. So those are the things that I look for in a lender. Some may be a little bit more expensive than others. Others may be a little cheaper than others. But the main things I look for is just getting the job done effectively, efficiently, and communicating with my clients 24/7. So if you need a recommendation, let me know. All right, so one other thing is you need to know every single expense that comes with buying a house. And I did do a video, again, I did another video on what to expect whenever you're a homeowner and what kind of costs are associated with that. There are costs when it comes to being a homeowner. I mean, you have your property taxes, you have your homeowner's insurance, you have your electricity bills, your utility bills, you have water, you have sewage, you have trash, you have a lot of bills to pay when it comes to this stuff. So don't stretch yourself though so thin. Right, just because you get approved for, let's say, a $3,500 payment when it comes to mortgages, right? Whatever that translates to in dollar amounts, maybe $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. But just because you get approved for that much, I mean, look at you know your finances more than anybody, right? So just understand all the costs that come with purchasing a house and owning one, because it's not just your monthly payments that you have to make to your lender. It's all that extra stuff that comes with it. So know every single cost that comes with it, and I'll try to find that link and leave it either in a card up here or in the link in the description below for that video on the entirety of the cost of a home ownership. All right, so one other thing is know what you want. know what you want. Ask yourself why. Why are you buying a house? Are you upsizing? Are you downsizing? Are you a first-time home buyer and you're wanting to achieve the American dream of home ownership? So you need to ask yourself this why. Once you have that big why of like, why do I want to do the things that I do? Like, why do I want this home? Why do I want, whatever the case is, like, is this house too big? Is this house too small? Is your family growing? Are you having more kids? Are your kids moving out? Is it just you? So all these questions you need to ask yourself. Is know your big why. And I feel like, say, for an example, is I need a bigger house and I want a better school district, right? In my opinion. So I want to move to a better school district and I want to have a bigger house. Those are two things that are pretty common, right? So if I understand my why, it helps me through the process of why I'm doing this in the first place whenever it starts to get stressful, whenever we're starting to deal with all the nonsense that comes with buying a house, right? So it helps me if I revert back to my why, I understand why I'm doing the things that I'm doing rather than just throwing in the towel and giving up altogether. This next one should come without saying is find a realtor. Me. I don't care. You find me or find whoever else that you're cool with, whoever else like and trust, but find a realtor that's going to help guide you through this entire process from start to finish. Don't get with somebody who just you're another number to them, right? I can't stress that enough because you might not get that customer service that you're expecting, right? So their customer service might lack in certain areas and others, right? So get with a realtor who, for one, knows what the heck they're doing, and that knows the area, knows the market, knows the conditions, and, it has your best interest at heart. And you're not just another number to them. You're not just another transaction that they're trying to meet their goals in, right? So their goals should align with your goals. And if you don't vibe with your realtor, it's probably going to be I wouldn't say a painful process, but it's going to be just a very, I don't know, it's very weird and awkward, right? So, but make sure you're vibing with your realtor. Make sure like you connect with them, and don't force the situation. Like if you don't like somebody, don't work with them. That's the nature of this business, right? Like I don't have to work with particular people if I don't want to. And if I don't vibe with them, I feel like we're just not a good, working relationship. I mean, it's just the name of the game. Same with consumers. They don't have to work with me. They don't have to work with. They get to pick who they want to work with. That's just the lovely thing about living in this country. So, nonetheless, find a good realtor that you can trust. Find a good realtor that you know. Find a good realtor that you like. Find a good realtor that's competent in the area. Okay, so another thing we did talk about briefly was know what you're comfortable paying. Like I said a second ago, just because you get approved for a $3,500 monthly payment in mortgages doesn't necessarily mean you have to push it to the max. Write down your finances, write down what you're comfortable with, get a feel for how much it's going to cost to own the house and how much it's going to cost to pay for it. And then just take it from there. Like, okay, I got approved for $3,500, but I can maybe, I could afford an additional $200, $300, $400 in utility bills and, all these other extra payments may add on top, right? So, but if you're not comfortable with that, maybe you need to knock that number down lower, right? And instead of going for $3,500 in mortgage payments, go to $2,800, $3,000. I don't know, whatever your case is. Like I said, you know your finances more than anybody else. Another thing is know the growth of your investment. What area are you looking at? What kind of growth does that area have? Are you looking for something more established that's been around for quite some time? Are you looking as an investment standpoint? Maybe you want to go to a certain part of town that's having better growth than others. So just you need to look at that kind of stuff and see what's really important to you. If you're looking for some growth or potential growth over the next decade or so, or whatever the case is, then you may want to go to maybe something that's getting revitalized, an area that's getting revitalized. Maybe you want to go to a newer construction area, a newer community, maybe a huge master plan community that's just now starting to get developed. Maybe you want to get in the early stages, which I'm going to cover on another video, by the way, when it comes to new construction. But yeah, just kind of pick your area of where you feel like where you think all the growth. If you care about that growth, just make sure you pick the area that you think has the most growth in it, or most potential for growth, should I say. All right, so moving on to the next one. Are you okay with a fixer-upper, or do you want a move-in ready style home? So there's pros and cons to each. Move-in ready homes, you're gonna pay top dollar, you're gonna pay very tip top of the market for it, and you're not gonna have any equity at all, right? Because you're buying at the very top of the market. But the pro on that one is that you don't have to spend $1 on anything. Like everything's ready to roll, everything's ready to rock, it's good. everything's good, it looks fantastic, it's all remodeled, it's all updated. If it's an older home, but if it's a new construction, I mean, you're good. Like, you don't have to spend $1 on it. It's just completely move-in ready, but you're paying for it. You're paying top dollar for it. On the flip side, if you're okay with a fixer-upper, maybe something that's not completely updated, but maybe something that's not an old home of whatever you're looking for, but maybe it's a fixer-upper, maybe it does need some loving on, right? Those you can typically get at a pretty steep discount from what the actual value of it could be. ARV is what we call it, after repaired value. You can typically get these at a pretty steep discount, but it all depends on what you're comfortable with, if that makes sense, right? So don't get yourself involved in more than you can handle. Don't bite off more than you can chew. So if you're going to buy a house that needs probably $70,000 worth of work to it, can you handle that, right? Do you have the funds? Do you have the means to make that happen over the years? Are you doing it right away? Are you going to do it in the next couple of years or over the next couple of years? Those are some of the stuff or some of the things you need to ask yourself. Are you comfortable with living in this fixer-upper if it's going to take you 2 years to get it looking right like you want it to? That if you're going to go the fixer-upper route, that you understand what you're kind of getting yourself involved in, and you know all the risks that entails with buying a fixer-upper. Some of them are actually pretty nice. They just need to be updated, right? So you can find some pretty good deals out there. The market's incredibly hot right now, so it is getting a little difficult, but we expect it to cool off pretty soon. So stay in touch. Last but not least is saving for your down payment. Understanding the different loan types, the loan differences, right? I did a video on all the different loan types, so it's going to be on the scope of this particular video. But saving up for your down payment, we'll talk about that. It's man, that's a big one. A lot of people don't understand how much they need to save up. It just all depends on what type of loan program you're going for, what your DTI is. But for conversation's sake, you need anywhere from 3 to 5% down at a bare minimum to purchase a property. Everyone's different, so take that with what you will. The only way you're really going to know how much you need is talking with your lender, because if you have a DTI issue, which is your debt to income, you may have to put more down to get the house that you want. Closing cost is extra stuff. Depending on market conditions and whatnot, I typically try to get our buyers' closing costs covered in the offers that we make to purchase. So like I said, if it's in that video we did mention, let's say it's a $300,000 house, the market's really not too crazy for it. It's been on the market a little bit. We may, depending on the offer, we may do $295 with $5,000 in closing costs, or $290 with $5K. Or if the market's super hot, and you're expecting multiple offers, but you need closing costs, you may have to go above the list price and then ask for closing costs. So like $315 with $5K, $310 with $5K. I don't know, I'm just throwing numbers out there. Whatever works, it's kind of a heat in the moment decision. There's no one right answer. There's no one answer to getting closing costs covered. But that's a whole nother thing for a whole nother time, for a whole nother video. But we're talking about down payment here, just 3 to 5%. So whatever your purchase price is, if it's $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, typically it's 3 to 5% down. Sometimes, maybe sellers want to see some more money down, but if you're in that average range, about 300 grand, 3 to 5% is for the most part of what we see. All right, well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you have any further questions, visit us on our website. From there, you can reach out to us directly. And if you're watching this on YouTube, as I mentioned in the earlier, go ahead and smash that subscribe button down below. It'll warm my heart so much. And like I said, if you have any questions, or if you have any comments, or you have any tips, feel free to reach out to me or leave it in the comment section below. We do our best to produce the best real estate content to you guys each and every single week. And that's pretty much going to do it for today. I'm Andrew with the Lake Team down here in Houston, Texas, and we'll see you next week.